And welcome back to Gallery 5 Schenectady's Sunday edition of Art Talks. And the artist before us is Deb Carpenter, and take it away.
Hi, thank you. And thank you so much for having this wonderful space for us to show our work. As he said, I'm Deb Carpenter. I paint from photographs, some that I've taken, some that others have taken, and I see the photo and I'm like, oh, I have a name for that, gotta paint it. So, but generally I'll do at least one study in sketching it before I begin to paint. I will sketch, depending on the details, I might do a detailed sketch on the canvas as well. Other times I might just have one horizon line and then go from there. But plein air is a little different. I do that from time to time. In my case, I need to have a viewfinder. I see something sparkly and I want to paint it. So I want to paint everything. So I've got to narrow it down. And many times I'll take photographs. If I can't finish it on site, I might finish it back in my studio. I've also, I was playing around with palette knife painting, and I thought I wanted to do something that would be fun. I teach classes, like usually sip and paints, and it's in that order. You sip first and then you paint. So I wanted something fun to do for a class that I was coming up with. Like this piece here was done from a photo that one of my doctors actually gave it to me, and it's just a beautiful shot. I love the fog and the calmness that you get out of it. But for a class, something like this would take, you only have 3 hours for a class. So I started playing around with it, and I came up with this technique, and I'm going to give you a quick little demo on how to do that. I did bring this piece here, which is just palette knife. There's no brushes included. I actually have a series of these. I call it brushes not included. You can pass that around and you can feel the texture of it that you can get with a palette knife. The thing I like about this technique is that you can go realistic or you can do abstract with it. It's kind of limitless as far as what type of what type of image you want to create, whether it's a mood, if it's a scene. So I'm going to attempt this as a quick demo, and if you want to, I'm not going to hold it up too much, but that's the palette I've used. Now it has traveled, so it's running a little bit. But I have two heavy body acrylic, and then the rest are fluid. So what I like about this is I like to use the back of my palette knife, and I try to get quite a bit on there. And I usually do like the top of it. I think I'm doing this in a landscape. I won't know until I'm done, really.
Intuitive.
Because we're not sure what's going to come out of this today. But this is a quick one. So I've got quite a bit of paint on there, as you can see.
Is that your heavy body? Or the
Heavy body. And I use a lot of white. I do use the Payne's gray. I like that because it has the blue hues to it. So it's great if you're doing like an ocean, or you get that exact color that you want in the horizon there. So I'm not sure what I'm gonna do here. I just dip the back of my palette knife with a couple of colors, and then you kind of let it, just drag it across and see what happens. Like some of those, they could be clouds. I don't know yet. So, but you can still play around with it. I'll even use a little red in there. Let's see, some orange maybe. But you can go as light, you can blend it in more if you want, or you can leave that, you know, those brighter colors, which is nice. And you can even take the edge of your palette knife and just angle it a little bit, and you can get a line going through. And you just never know what you're gonna get with it. So, and that's the beauty of it, is you can play. I'm gonna add some more down here to see, maybe we'll do a little, like, see, I just put a horizon in. Wasn't that hard? Huh? So, and then you can go, I like to use a lot of colors in my skies and in my water, because the water and sky picks up all the colors from the world. So you can just, I just like to go a little darker. And then when this dries, that's when you can go and add in more details. Like if I wanted to get a darker line up on top, I can take this darker color, which is in the heavy body, and you can just bring it across. Sometimes I'll do like a little jet of land coming out. I can get enough on there. Oh. Something I forgot to tell you, and forgot to tell me, wipe your palette knife off when you go to another color, okay?
I think we've all forgotten to do that at least once.
So, and that way you're getting and as you can see, then you can see more a definitive jet of land there. But let's see. But you can see how you can use this abstractly as well, because you can just put in any color you want, and you kind of just wait and see what happens, and that's the fun thing about it.
So when it dries and you go over with color again, you can wipe some of it off. If
Yeah,
you want, or
exactly.
Well done.
And you can even, like I'm just using the edge of my palette knife, and then I might take, just to build a little something there. And, you know, could be a rock, I don't know, what do you think?
yeah.
But as you can see, it doesn't take a lot. And like I said, I was looking for something very simple to do for a class and that people would have fun with. But generally, I mean, we have like 3 hours, and we let that dry, and we go around the class, and we tell them, if you see something you like, steal that idea. But, you know, just to get different ideas, a different take on the same image. But I don't like to constrain my classes that you have to paint this. Paint what you want, and this is the technique I'm using, and that's pretty much it. But as far as the paintings I have here, I mean, whether it's moving paint around like this, and I know a couple of the artists mentioned that what I like to accomplish with my painting is a sense of peace, of calm, because we need that, right? We all need the calm. And I totally agree with those artists have mentioned that. And it gives me peace when I paint. I could sit there for hours upon hours and just keep painting. And as I mentioned to somebody else, no painting is ever really done, it's just abandoned. As you know, there's always something else you could do, but it's, you know, is what it is. But I enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy looking at it. So, are there any questions?
Do you have a studio at home that you work in, or?
I do have a space in my home that I have taken up a lot of space in my home. That's why my husband has 3-man caves.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, my daughter's old room is the gallery.
Is there something you could do outside? I know some artists just work looking at scenes.
Because of the fog, and it would dissipate too quickly, and I'm not a fast painter, maybe when I use a palette knife, but when you're trying to get something, I'm more of a realist painter, so I want to get that exact piece. And sometimes, like if I'm working from a photograph, I will add, like I did an old tractor, and it was in a field, and there weren't any wildflowers, but I put wildflowers in because it just made it more interesting to add a little more color. So, anyways, that's, this would be a little difficult to do. A landscape, yeah, I've done landscapes before. Lakes, I did an artist retreat up at Weiraka in Lake George, and that was a blast. So I did a few paintings from up there, and you can get the, you know, the mountains aren't gonna move much. Let's hope. But yeah, anything else?
I think that's it. Thank you, Deb.
You're welcome. Thank you.